Welcome back. Sweater's done. I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about the sweater story and how you can make one as well. Let's get started. And there she is, ain't she a beaut? Now I did do some marathon knitting on this, but I incorporated stuff that a normal sock knitter would know how to do, especially with binding off the underarm seams with a Kirchner stitch. Taught a little bit about how I carry the yarn. This pattern by Drops Design Nightshades is not really terrible with long floats, so a beginner can do it. But all in all, I'm very pleased with how it turned out. Living in the city of Pittsburgh, black and gold are the colors, and I just put a little twist on it, so now I have a black and gold sweater with a little bit of off-white and gray. So let's take a look at that underarm really close. The sweater has been washed and blocked, so I have no big holes or gaps, so I'm happy with that. This was knit from the bottom up, and took me a little over 2 weeks. But like I said, I had some marathon knitting going on there for a while. I did not do the elevation in the back of the neck, as this is the back. I did not roll the collar on as the pattern called for. I thought that was a little bit of overkill. I did match up how many centimeters to that. So my cuffs all match lengthwise. You know, I did a few modifications slightly to the pattern to meet my needs, which I always tell everyone, you are the designer and you can do that as well. Let me show you what I did. They do give you dimensions on Drops Designs for the dimensions of the sweater. If you go and visit the link that's in the description below, you'll notice the sweater looks really big and comfy. And that's not the look that I was looking for or wanted in my sweater. And if you've been following along, you know that I've been oogling a sweater for quite some time and I have not got to it. So what I did was, because I didn't want it to look like I can hide like my holiday meal and everything, and you know, I wanted it to kind of hug and fit the body. So what did I do? I compared pattern to another pattern, like going to the doctors and getting a second or third opinion. I was like, all right, I like the shape of this sweater in this book. And I also have the pattern from Tin Can Knits called Strange Brew. It's kind of like a recipe, and you can make like from baby to 4 extra large in a bottom-up sweater. It is also a pattern that uses DK weight. So I was like looking at all the Drops pattern, the Strange Brew, and also the one from Vogue Knitting, and looked at the gauge, looked at how it was shaped. I just went size down. So I knit it in a small because the Strange Brew is knit as well in a DK, and the gauge was very similar, but chest circumference, length, everything, you know, just was almost to the same as a small medium in the Strange Brew. So I figured, okay, well, if I knit it in a medium, I'm going to have that Oompa Loompa look where it's just going to be big. You might be wanting that because most of those Yoke sweaters are meant to be a relaxed fit. But if you don't want a relaxed fit, then what do? So I would tell you, you can always go to the bookstore, go to the yarn shop, take a look at magazines, patterns, and compare. What's the gauge? If it's the same size yarn in circumference, and go from there. Make your educated guess from that perspective. Now, getting along, now that this is done, I will be working on sweater number 2 in this, and I still have not come up with a color scheme yet, but I do have my pattern. But this one's going to be from the top down, and I will have more control over how it's designed. And if I want more extra room in the shoulders, or if I want to taper it down below my bust line, I can do that because I can try the sweater on as I go. If I wanted to make it a tunic length so that I can wear it with leggings, you know, or whatever. If I want to knit it flat at the bottom and not be in the round, I can do that. Whereas from the bottom up, if you're not comfortable with it, that's where it becomes complicated. And knitting a sweater all in one piece and putting it together should not be that hard. Unlike the first pattern that I chose. And then I got sidetracked, fixed the pattern, and decided not to even knit it. But that's why I always tell everyone, if you can knit a sock, you can knit a sweater. And it's not complicated. So I'm going to have to go here. Going to go look at some color combinations and the other pattern. I'm going to have to wind up some yarn so I can get it dyed and get it started for you. And I hope you like this. I hope you've got some information out of this. And if you have any questions or comments, please let them down below and I'll get back to you on them. But it's simple. A few increases, a few decreases. You knit your sleeves, add them on. Whether you use color work or not, that's completely up to you. If you just do a raglan, they're out there. Enjoy, explore, add more to your knowledge base. And if it's always been on your bucket list, just knock it off. Go ahead and get it done. So I'll see you in the next one. Please like and subscribe as always.